It is almost time to get this final started, but before that, it's a bit of a tradition. I asked these two lovely gentlemen, who are the experts, what their prediction is, and it's very interesting to see when they get it wrong. Listen, Onset, what are we going to say for this one? It's a great final. The nerves. There was a fly. Listen, I got it. The thing is, Onset, what do you reckon for this?
This is my most nervous I've been predicting someone, because I know that I'm basically predicting someone to lose as well. But I'm going to go my boys Endpoint. They've got better week on week. They've had a few slip-ups, but they've come back strongly from it. So I'm going to go with Endpoint, but I think we're seeing a Game 7.
And Gregan?
I really don't know which way to go. These guys scrim each other a lot, and they play a best-of-7 when they scrim. And I spoke to them last week, to which they both said they beat the other one more often in scrim. So it's going to be incredibly close. I'm going to have to go Endpoint as well, because I've been backing them since the beginning. They've improved week on week, and the way they played against Infused, if we see that again, they're going to take it.
Wow, thank you very much, gentlemen. I missed that fly, by the way. Listen, I'm going to throw over to the casters right now. Now, we heard from Johnny Boy his favourite moments of the Elite Series so far. So, Shogun, I'm going to ask you, sir, what's been your favourite particular highlight or moment from the series?
Well, so far, I'd have to say I actually enjoyed the Infused versus Method series quite a lot, just purely because of the level of Rocket League. I'm a sucker for really good Rocket League. I think that's the highest level we've seen in a series so far. But I hope upon hope that we are going to be seeing something even beyond that in our grand final stage, because if there's ever a time to be pulling that sort of series out, it'll be right now. But like I said, this series, if you want high-level Rocket League, this was it for me.
Oh yeah, go back and watch it. Except don't watch that team save that came out of Infused in the previous clip. Probably the best I ever saw Infused play in a LAN setting. That was a series that really made me believe that Infused could maybe go on and win this and become the favorites, because Method, with their full-strength roster going in, we thought would be the #1 team. And, you know, maybe they still were, had it not been for Metz and Magnus exiling themselves in the semi-finals, hoping that their 2/3 sub-squad would make it in with a lot, which they couldn't. They couldn't make it past an Epsilon team who were full strength. And that's why Epsilon are in the final, to play against Endpoint, who just romped Infused 4 games in a row. Got to agree with both Onset and Gregan's predictions. They're the team who are the favorites coming into this final for me.
Yep, well, I have to agree with you on that one. Endpoint, from a statistical point of view, looking very strong indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our finals for the Gfinity Elite Series. However, recent studies show that if you know the spoiler, if you're spoiled for the finals, you actually enjoy the book a little bit more. So if you haven't seen everything, make sure you go back and rewatch every single week of the Gfinity Elite Series, as we are going to be playing on the Champions Field, aptly named, for our final series of this tournament.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And there's a lot of people going to ask, how are Endpoint and Epsilon are in the final? Well, it's too hard to explain. You've got to just go back and watch it. It's the only way you're going to find out. First goal could be so important, as Epsilon, they managed to win every game that they got the first goal in against their semi-final opponent. Not off to a good start, though. Tinny with the first goal. Wide open net after the demo.
And something we see right there. You mentioned the word demo. Came in ever so often for Endpoint last week against Infused. They slowed the pace down to what they wanted it to be. They were so physical with Infused. And with every game that they took, because of that physical style, it was frustrating the #1 seeds, up to the point where they just couldn't play how they wanted to anymore. So if they can have success with that strategy again this week, they could put Epsilon on the back foot and take this series,
Tinny,
as they have been consistently on the offensive since this game has started.
Although we've been talking about Shirio, you know, looking to be the top goal scorer at the end of the day, already top of the league in MVPs and saves. Tinny was the man who Infused highlighted as a troublemaker. He's the one who was breaking down all of their plays, so look for Tinny in the midfield to try and stop Epsilon from doing what they want to do.
12 assists last week for Tinny, putting everything in front of his teammates. So look for him and Cheerio, I think, will be the main duo on Endpoint. That really, if they can come together and make good plays, Epsilon will really struggle as Data has to come through. Alex had very little boost towards the end of that play, so needed someone to come in and help him out. Only 90 seconds into this game, but still, Endpoint, the rotation so far has been nothing but perfect, as Epsilon looks to be holding on in this first game.
We had low-scoring games for 6 out of the 7 matches that Epsilon played in the semi-final against Method. Hoping to see more goals in the grand finals today. So far, we've seen 1 very early, but that wasn't unusual for an Epsilon series as well. Lots of early goals, and then it would kind of stabilize into this back and forth, where although goals might be close, they're not really happening. Another one just goes across the front of the net. Cheerio, not enough boost to reach it.
All momentum coming into this week is with Endpoint, that big win that they had against Infused. They'll love to recreate it. Both these teams, Gfinity has really been their first major experience to stage play. They've had to adapt very quickly. As you heard earlier on, Endpoint, this is their first time ever. That's going to be bouncing off the crossbar, but Alex is there just in time. You can see Endpoint not wanting to push forward too much, not wanting to over-rotate whilst they've still got this lead.
The boost control from Endpoint really outplaying Epsilon at the moment. They're able to secure not just their own boost at the back with consistency, but they're stealing a lot from the Epsilon half, and the mid boosts are just getting taken on spawn right now from Endpoint. That is what's causing this trouble for Epsilon. Finally, a double whiff comes in, and they're able to counter-attack. Data with a redirect does get saved. Epsilon, perhaps their best chance of the game thus far. Shot was a little bit lacking from Data there.
It's good to see that they are going for those players already. Repex letting the power that forward. Chacaron though with the save. Almost a half rotation through Alex off his shot. Did not play that the way he wanted to. Although Epsilon have started to creep further and further forward ever since that halfway point has been reached. Data. Oh, reached there in time, but almost a dunk there by Alex.
Ball just bounced far and down and out, but what a shot. Repex is going to tie it. Endpoint incapable of clearing the ball out of their own half for the best part of a minute. And Alex to Repex to the back of the net. Great strike to the top corner. We're all tied up despite Endpoint being the team with the vast majority of the pressure so far when we're well into game one.
And this is something that Infused really struggled to do last week against Endpoint. Those passing plays were non-existent, so Endpoint only had to ever deal with individual plays towards our own net. As Alex has to try and power that one down to the other end of the field, but it was good to see Epsilon not panicking despite how big the stage is and despite how much money is on the line, resorting to consistent team plays and eventually finding a way to just boost starve Endpoint out of the play.
Tinny is just playing exactly like we expected him to, sitting at that midfield line, getting such good reads on the attempted clears from Epsilon. Every time they're trying to lob it high across the midfield line, it's getting immediately sent straight back. Tinny's not wasting any time. Not even close to letting Epsilon 50-50 the ball with him, because he's so good at reading what they're trying to do. Finally, they're going to get it past him, though. Cheerio is demoed in the midfield. Chacaron needs to be careful here. He's done well to get a 50-50, but he does get dunked on. No one on the far side of the field for Epsilon in time to capitalize on what was a very good opportunity, Shogun.
Both these teams playing like they intend to win. Usually you see one team going a little bit more defensive, but looks like that last goal woke Endpoint up. They realized that one goal will not do it for them. They need to keep working for this.
Oh, that's not good enough. Huge miss coming in from Epsilon at the end of the game. Not just missing the shot, but setting up a counter for Endpoint. Looks like both teams would fancy overtime. Nobody wanting to overcommit. And overtime we go in game one. Such an important game one. We called Endpoint the favorites, but we have seen them falter a couple of times this season, most recently against Reason Gaming. If they're going to lose this series, it might be because of the nerves starting to creep in, but that's a wide open net for Cheerio! And he will tie Magnus and Doomsy at the top of the scoreboard for goals in the entire season. That is Endpoint 1-0. The ball was already going in from Tinny. Cheerio wants to take that top goal scorer accolade when all is said and done. And Endpoint start very well today.
And Tinny doing exactly what he did last week, controlling that mid part of the field, making it his own. Lovely challenge on that, putting himself well above his opponent, so the ball just rolls over the top of his opponent's car. And Cheerio, I mean, if there's ever a time to go for a goal confirm, that is the time. Make sure you get that opening goal. Make sure you take the first win in the Gfinity Elite Series Grand Finals. And for Endpoint, that is big. But for Epsilon, that continues. They need to get the first goal, otherwise they haven't gone on to win.
It was all Tinny, though, just like we highlighted. Almost every highlight clip here is just a Tinny interception. He's moving in when he needs to, he's stepping back when he needs to. He almost never looks surprised, and he's really stepped into that role very well. A role that he's always enjoyed playing, sitting back, letting his teammates do what they want up front, and trying to never get taken out the game. That's his plan. He never wants to throw himself into a challenge unless he knows he can get that solid dunk like you talked about, getting way over the top of his opponent, force the ball into a favorable situation in the end of the game for Cheerio to get that winning goal.
He's reminding me very much right now of a slightly more defensive Remco, making sure that the rotation is going for his team, only going for what he knows he can win, and just ensuring, all right, lads, you can do what you want. I'm going to make sure we are not going to concede anything stupid.
Very valuable role in Rocket League, having a good solid anchor who's not greedy, doesn't want to force himself forward into those plays. But it's quite unusual to see an anchor who's also getting as many assists as Tinny is. Someone who's sitting back, getting so many midfield interceptions, and also setting up plays. And this Cheerio set up the first play. Shakeron will finish it. Tinny in his favorite spot in the world, just sitting back and watching it happen.
This is going to be the nicest thing in the world when you just sit back, relax, and watch as your own two teammates tear apart the Epsilon Esports defense. 1-0 in the opening 15 seconds. And Epsilon, they need to find an answer to this very quickly. Remember, they've not been in this position before. They need in-game leaders to make sure that the call is out. Yo, let's not give up on anything just yet. We've got the talent to do this.
They're just getting outpaced at the moment. The confidence from Endpoint is just clear to see. A team which came into the Elite Series thinking that they would have no chance of making playoffs, then beating Infused in the playoffs. It's just a great sight to see that transformation in such a short time span. Just under 3 months it's taken for this team to become league leaders and now the favorites to win the entire Season 1 of Gfinity Elite Series.
I mean, if we look at their entire season, it's been such an up and down time. And this is going to be yet another one. Tinny putting into that top right-hand corner. They are just taking advantage of mistakes.
This time it's Cheerio with the initial interception, but you don't need to have the mind-reading ability of Tinny to get that one. Clear was just not good enough from Epsilon, dumping it straight into the center. Goalkeeper had no chance. The ball was running away from him right into Tinny's path. Top corner was unstoppable. And Endpoint are looking unstoppable. They've just gone 2-0 in Game 2. Looking to go 2-0 in the series. Shakeron doing a much better job of clearing that dangerous ball that Endpoint, or that Epsilon just failed to do at the other end.
Just leaving too many gaps. Repex will try and take this the entire way, but as Infused will tell them that doesn't work. That might, though. Goes off the post. And Data does get beat, but he's ended up being bumped straight into it. Epsilon will get away from that, though. And they've got an opportunity to try and put something together. Alex taking a little bit too much time. And it's the slingshot defense from Endpoint, the same defense they used last week, which is working out just fine in this 2-0 lead. Putting people into the net, pulling them back, and then throwing them towards the ball. And that is just keeping them safe.
But once again, it is Epsilon that lose out on that little back and forth where teams are trying to one-up each other with the clear balls. Endpoint have just got better control. They're not giving away the ball. Tinny, phenomenal work once again, taking an Epsilon player out the game while disposing with what was quite a threatening situation.
And every time you win one of those, you almost confirmed a challenge from someone else on the other team, so you're putting yourself in a 3v2 on the other end of the field. That can end up being huge as you try and put together your own play. Cheerio, looks to try and go for this. Hit it pretty well. Managed to convince Alex to at least jump for it. And every single time Endpoint puts forward to play, it's wasting more time on that clock. But even more importantly than that, it means that they're keeping themselves in the correct mindset to keep this going. They want every single game to look like this one.
There's just no boost on Epsilon. It's the same story as Game 1. Endpoint just beating them to every ball, beating them to every boost grab. That is a sign of good rotation, ladies and gentlemen. A team who are playing with speed and with confidence. That can be all it needs to win a 3v3 game. Shakeron, great pass to Cheerio. He looks like he's just a little bit late to the scene once again. Not that surprising to see the slight hesitations coming in from Endpoint. They don't need another goal. They're just going to play it a little bit safe. Kissing a caught out by a rogue 50-50 like we just saw. And a fake on the goal line will let Alex 161 bring Epsilon just a little bit closer to tying the game.
Absolutely crucial there for Epsilon as well. Alex puts that one straight down. And there we are, Data. We've seen it before. It's happened to plenty of teams. You see that player coming in from your peripheral vision, and you think, he's got to hit it. Everyone at this level has got to hit that.
He's gonna hit
and
that
sometimes
ball.
They just don't.
You never know. Data might be going for the deftest of touches there. He might be intending to miss the ball. It's hard to know from the goalkeeper's... Impossible to know from the goalkeeper's
You just have to make a decision.
Are Epsilon going to turn this around? They took a while to burst into flames in the first game. Well, now, just as I say it, See Repix bursting into flames, quite literally. But now is the time that they need to tie the game. They cannot let Endpoint stabilize. Got to try and keep them in their own half. Start to make them doubt in their own ability to clear the ball. Maybe then they'll make the deadly double commit or the panic play in defense. There's not many wide rotations coming in for Epsilon. They're desperately trying to cheat whenever possible just to beat Endpoint to the ball. Tinny it is once again who's able to work the ball clear.
And look at how far back Epsilon had to work for. That was because Cheerio took both of the middle boosts, forced them to go all the way back once the initial play did not work out for them. As now Endpoint just needs to hold on for 43 more seconds and they will put themselves 2-0 up, but Cheerio forced to stop it, for it came over to a charging Repex. And now Endpoint can put this forward. If they get themselves a 2-goal lead, that could be all she wrote for this particular game. As Epsilon, that is a power forward. Not really all that recommended, considering that they still need to put something together. And Endpoint are not going to be put off by a rogue shot from someone else's half.
Once again, a midfield race just not fast enough. If you are an Epsilon fan, Endpoint are beating them to the ball with consistency. Again, we see that key interception, this time from Cheerio. Great pass. Shaker onto Tinny. That's the second time those two have linked up this game. Tinny has been on the goal sheet quite a few times today already. I don't see Epsilon making a comeback. I love the fake kickoff though. They're trying to mix things up. Doesn't work out, but they knew they needed to do something to surprise Endpoint. Because right now, nothing that they're doing is working. Endpoint are creating more chances, and they're taking them. And they are going to have a 2-0 lead in this best of 7 in the grand finals. It is Endpoint who are living up to the praise. They're living up to our expectations. And will they be able to now just cross that finish line? They're just coming around the back corner as we speak. Home straight in sight. Shaker on Tinny and Cheerio. The only team who have stuck together all season long and played with the same roster, and that synergy is really starting to show.
And for Endpoint right now, they'll want to keep this going. They really will be thinking to themselves, you know, we need to try and get the sweep here, because in a situation like this where the stakes are so high, that one game that goes against you, we've seen it throughout this entire tournament. Once that happens, it can all suddenly start to shift. So if Endpoint can keep this going, though, they will not have to worry about that. But it is, as you've been saying, they've been executing the same strategy as last week. Boost steal, be first, get goal, win. And it is working out absolutely beautifully for them. Look at that, though. More stuff like that.
My favorite goal, for sure.
That's what Epsilon needs.
Epsilon just need to trust each other a little bit more. We see the trust. It's so clear when we're watching Endpoint play at their best that they trust each other. When Tinny's at the midfield, his teammates trust him to get that interception. When Cheerio goes into the air for a ball, his teammates trust him to hit it. When Shakeron is making a pass, his teammates already making that run into the box because they know that he's going to hit that pass. And then we look at Epsilon on the other side of the field. They just don't have that same trust. They're not looking for passing plays as much as their opponents are. And they're not getting out of each other's way in defense to allow themselves to clear the ball, just make space for each other, give each other the, leave that back boost if you don't really need it so that your teammate who needs it more can take it. These are the little things that are separating the two teams at the moment, but it is now or never for Epsilon. They're 2 games down already, and I don't see a reverse sweep happening. It's always possible in Rocket League, but Endpoint are playing so well. Epsilon have got to try and put something in the way of the train at the moment. Maybe not to stop it just yet, but certainly to slow it down.
Well, for me right now, Epsilon, they need to try.
Oh, no way!
The middle boost, but more importantly, they have to be turning that one in. Epsilon with a golden opportunity to take the lead in this 3rd game, and they have not taken it.
As a criminal miss. 3 players presented with an open net, but disorganization, no trust in the player who's furthest forward with no boost, to just leave the ball to roll to his teammate who would have very, very easily tapped it in. I couldn't see who it was, but it's just Epsilon in a nutshell for today. They looked shaky in the semi-final, and unfortunately, they're not looking like a much improved team on the stage today. Oh, they've got another chance, and again, it just goes astray. Repix is already turning away. He just did not believe in Data's ability to get the ball into the middle.
Well, from the way he was turning back, he didn't look like he had any boost, but that pass over to Data. Lots more trust there. He was pretty much confirmed. Yo, Alex is going to win this.
He's got to believe. There's not even any huge disadvantage to hoping just, you know, driving forward and hoping that Alex gets that center ball in that situation. You've still got Repix backing you up at the midfield. You can go for it. Data knows that. It's great to see them finally get that much needed goal. And now, this is a big question. Will they be able to hold on to this lead and close out the game like they did in the semi-final against Method 4 times?
Well, this is the first time they've had a lead. Now they need to try and convert it. Data will find himself on the way back, but is that low boost, meaning he is going to be pretty slow to it. As Epsilon will look to try and capitalize on this one. There could be another opportunity, but Tinny is there just in time. As Endpoint are going to put themselves on that backboard. Two of them have committed. Data wants to get over to Alex, but just not enough power to find his fellow teammate. As Cheerio looks to try and push this forward, but that is too early of a shot. As Endpoint are going to have to show us something that we haven't quite seen from them over the last few weeks, and that is a little bit of teamwork in the team play. Because for the most part, they've just been entirely based on outpacing their opponents. I don't think it's going to happen this time, because now Epsilon have got control of those mid boosts.
This rotation from Epsilon is so messy with the Repix. Just driving right across Alex 161's path, almost guaranteeing the double commit. His goalkeeper doesn't know he's coming from the blind spot. Luckily for them, Endpoint were not there to tap in what was an uncontested center ball, as Repix was end boost starved. Epsilon have just got to trust each other a little bit more, start rotating wide to the back post, or else they're going to start bleeding more and more goals. It's so crucial for them that they hold on to this goal lead. If they can win this game, who knows, maybe, just maybe, Endpoint will start to question their ability to close out the series. They're still in a great position at the moment, though. Well over 2 minutes left. One goal is all it would take for Endpoint to really shatter the morale of Epsilon. But to Epsilon's credit, this is the cleanest that they've looked all series long. Still not as clean as I want to see from them, but cleaner than game 1 and 2 nonetheless.
Still 2 minutes left to play. Data once again in that corner. It's going to leave it as Alex does not quite get the contact he wants, but Data will be there to help him. Enough boost to try and push this one in, and he will. Alex gives Epsilon a 2-0 lead in a crucial game 3.
That's just so well done by Data. So quick to get up in the air, sacrificing himself for the greater good. And patience from Alex. Waited for Cheerio to move into the goal, put the ball right behind him. The most difficult place for a goalkeeper to save the ball in Rocket League. Surely now Epsilon will be able to hold on to this lead. We've not seen many comebacks since the playoffs began. Teams have done quite well in closing out games. Particularly Endpoint, it must be said, winning 4 games in a row against Infuse. Still, for me, the most surprising result in the entire league series. Not just because of the result, but because of how one-sided it was.
Very much was, and they seem to have been taking this momentum into this week. However, that is a huge shot, and Alex will turn that one in. That will be his second shot, but he basically used his opponent there, Cheerio, as a catapult.
Cheerio just gets annihilated for trying to be cheeky and cut the ball infield. But well played for Alex for spotting that threat, because the infield pass has been a very, prominent source of Endpoint goals. They've been ignoring the back wall quite frequently, just going directly into the center of the box. Alex 161 sees that coming, and he not just blocks it, slams it into, and the ball didn't even bounce before it crossed the goal line.
And that brings up something huge for Epsilon as well. It's something that Infused couldn't get anything of last week. And it's when you can't score goals for a long period of time, you start to feel like nothing is going to work. That nothing is going to go for you as Chakaron tries to put that one in, but that's going to be a save from Data. But a goal like that, where you basically push that in from your side of the field, can do so much for your confidence, because it just says, right, we can get goals anywhere. Rather than Infused's panic that they couldn't get anything done.
And it really start making a player like Tinny question his positioning, because that's probably the first time that he's been completely caught out. Fair play to him. They're already down by 2. You can understand why Endpoint were positioned so aggressively. Again, there's that infield pass. I love the 1-2 attempt. Gets saved by Data once again. He's got his goalkeeper gloves on for game 3. Very solid individual performance from Data to help his team get 1 win on the board. This is all that Infuse managed to do against Endpoint, so at least we have not seen the dreaded 4-0 sweep. Epsilon are still fighting for this. They're certainly not done yet.
And I don't want to try and educate people on basic math, but 2-1 is certainly a lot better than a 3-0.
That's
it's actually pretty huge when you come to this sort of thing, because you no longer are putting yourself in a position of, yo, we got to win 4 games in a row. which I don't think I've ever seen happen at a large-scale grand final. It's just something that can be a little bit too much to ask of anybody.
There are, you know, Rocket League is not a game where there's real randomness, like true randomness, but things can still surprise you. You know, your human reaction time can fall second best to just something like that crazy dunk goal from Alex. I mean, there's no way Tinny's going to do anything about that. What are you supposed to do? The ball is just over the top of his head before he even has time to process what has happened in front of him. So things like that can sometimes decide a game in Rocket League. That is why you never want to put yourself in a position where you're relying on the reverse sweep. Because even if you are the better team and you've just been playing bad up until that point, you can turn it on and still get completely ruined by maybe one or even two of the sort of goals that we just saw make the lead 3-0 there for Epsilon.
Yep, absolutely, indeed. Epsilon right now looking much better that game. Still the defense, kind of shaky, but they got away with it because they weren't put on defense too often. So honestly, for me right now, it's the midfield. It is going to be the battle of who can keep possession and pressure for the longest period of time. Where does that start? Well, that starts by getting up in the air. So honestly, right now, whoever is in the air and winning is likely to keep taking games.
It was a very quiet game for Endpoint. It's a bit of a tussle in the corner. Coming in to start things off. We've seen early goals almost every game so far. So he should have this under control. He leaves it for Cheerio, who had a more intuitive angle. That's the exact trust that I was talking about earlier. Cinny, even though the ball is in a very dangerous location, he knows that it's not dangerous with his teammate Cheerio on the board. Oh my goodness, suddenly the ball's centered. Cheerio rattles the bar. That should never have happened, but well played by Epsilon not to concede in a perilous situation. Early goals avoided so far in Game 4. Of course, the unbiased caster in me would love to see a tie series at the end of this. When all said and done, not even Data able to find a teammate with that pass, and he might have overdone things. The ball's rolling dangerously. Lots of lobs to start off this game. I'm glad to see Repix taking it to the ground. Wanted to take Cinny out of the game with a flick. Wasn't successful, but the idea was good.
A lot of lobs indeed from Endpoint. Not really looking for each other or trying to get off that backboard. We were talking about it earlier backstage, Johnny, about teams that can overdo what they try and change in between series. I'm hoping that's not what happened to Endpoint. And they keep going with what took them that win against Infuse last week and took them these opening 2 wins this week. But first they need the ball.
They've slowed down. There's no question about it. They're not moving around with as much purpose as they did. And you might be onto something. I hope that they didn't just get those 2 wins and then sit back and hope to get a free win in Game 3, because it looks like this given Epsilon a lot of confidence and they're the ones who are creating chances. Endpoint need to step it up. It was the pace that was winning the games early in the series. But right now they're getting beat to the ball. Oh my goodness, another crossbar to the rescue for Epsilon. This one will go past. How many times are Epsilon going to go unpunished? Cheerio with another one. I think that is him now in the lead. He's won the accolade for top goal scorer in the Gfinity Elite Series, but I'm sure he's not thinking about that right now. All he'll care about is getting the W in this series itself.
And that play started so much earlier. Whilst I believe it was Alex and Data having arguments over the boost in the corner. Data went for the ball and then ended up going, yo, this is why I needed it.
Exactly.
I needed that boost earlier. I couldn't get to it. And that's going to hand Endpoint over the opening lead, so Epsilon can have the opportunity yet again to try and get themselves a win from behind. They have struggled to do it over the past few weeks. As Data just powers that one, Chacaron will take his time and try and push this away. Couldn't find the corner though, and that's going to give it straight over to Repex, who has got himself no boost, but has done plenty of work with it. As Epsilon keep pushing themselves forward, but that miss right there is going to force everyone back. Cheerio looking for someone. He has got him as well. Repex is out, but Chacaron could not do enough work as Alex was hounding him for the ball.
Cheerio with the off-the-ball plays onto Repix. Repix is a late rotating back after landing in the back wall with completely no boost to his name. Inside the final 2 minutes, this game has gone deceptively fast. Epsilon desperately need a goal, but they're just getting bullied around. Repix once again gets slapped from behind. Everyone from Endpoint getting involved in the physicality that can be a big factor in competitive Rocket League.
And tell me if this seems familiar to you. A slowed down game where Endpoint are consistently trying to slap around their opponents. Oh wait, that happened last week.
It did indeed.
And that is exactly what they did to put Infused on tilt. That is a bad touch there from Repex.
It's a huge chance, and instead it's just going to be a big chance for Endpoint to get a clear. It's chances like this that Epsilon cannot be throwing away. They are not afforded so many mishits. They're not afforded any mishits at this point. Because Endpoint are just playing a little bit too consistently. I don't see many free goals slipping in there for Epsilon. Still the same situation as game one. They're only a goal down despite all of the one-sided pressure. Data should be doing better with that shot. Final minute. Endpoint looking to cement their lead. Physicality continues and it's open. Does get saved. I believe Data did get a touch on that.
Yeah, Justin, he was going to be happy that he had some boost to try and get there, because if he was on none, then that would have meant so much more. Repex gets the save, but it's still the wrong end of the field. Data, pre-jumped and pre-rolled, still gets himself a block. But Epsilon needs something going. Repex is too close. As Data cannot get there either. Endpoint are sending everyone back. It is time to put up that wall and not allow anything through. Those whiffs like that will not be helping out. As Cheerio, I like that, keeps it away from his opposing half, does not let anything happen. Tinny taking his time, attempt to go forward from Chacaron, but Endpoint have removed all drama from the last few seconds of this by keeping it in their opposing half. One last opportunity, but just sending everyone, and that is going to drop to the floor. Championship point now, Endpoint.
And they have 3 of them. Epsilon have only managed to take 1 game of the first 4. We're beyond halfway through the series, and already Endpoint are on the brink of victory. Like you said, they closed that out with such composure, and on the other side of the field, Epsilon are just mishitting balls left, right, and center. They can't find power shots when they need them most. What a save that was by Data. Cheerio perhaps should be scoring. Quite a lot of uprights to the rescue. There was the goal that gave Cheerio his, I believe, was it 29th of the season? I've forgotten. It's something high 20s. He's now taken the lead. He's past Doomsy and Magnus, who could do nothing about it but watch from back home. Now it is all on Epsilon. Can they step up to the challenge? I'm not really against this slow play style that Endpoint are doing. They're making it work. They're asking a lot of questions, some interesting questions of Epsilon. They're asking, what are you going to do if we lob the ball up high and it's just floating in front of your net for 5 seconds and we're already winning by 1? That's valuable Epsilon time that's getting wasted. And we saw at the end of the game, they're willing to waste more time clearing the ball for their opponents just to play keep away.
So Endpoint won their debut week. They then went on to have an up-and-down season. They went 2 weeks in a row while scoring only 1 goal. And they lost to Reason. They were the first ever loss to Reason. But the important thing, last week they took out our #1 seeds. This week, they could go on to be our grand champions and win themselves £20,000.
This could be it for Endpoint. The boys who started off the season not really believing in their chances to make playoffs, now they believe. How can you not believe when you're playing this well? You've already deleted the favorites for the entire season in the semifinals, crushed them 4-1. Now they're looking to repeat it. Do the same to Epsilon, who have struggled up until this point. First goal has been scored by the team that has gone on to win in all 4 games so far. Will the same be true in game 5?
Alex looks to try and put that forward. There is the first demo for Endpoint. That's one of those things of, because they are slowing down the game so much, it forces teams who are used to such fast rotations to really think about what they're trying to do. Tinny is going to give up that ball and the boost, though, as Data looks to try and put it in the middle. Oh, to Alex, who was just right where the ball was going to land. Could not generate, not even power, but a decent shot.
It's just not there. The power is always lacking, and now the accuracy is starting to slip. It's just wide. 2 chances already missed by Epsilon, and we're only just over a minute into this. But it is the clinicalness of Endpoint that has won so many games thus far. They don't miss those chances. Epsilon are showing us that they have and do miss those chances. Will they be given more against an Endpoint team who have blocked so many already?
Let's not overlook the fact that Endpoint's
open.
conversion rate on series has not been stellar, and Data will try and take advantage of that. The opening goal for Epsilon, and for the stat stays true, this could be the game for Epsilon.
And again, it's not just that they would like this game, they need this game. We've talked about Endpoint a lot and how this is them on the brink. It looks like they're going to win. Epsilon need 3 in a row. If they can pull this off, that might even be the surprising result of the season, just because of how things are looking at the moment. 3 games in a row against an Endpoint who are just continuing to batter them in defense. Demolishing them left, right, and center, stealing the boost from both sides of the field and the middle of the field as well. But Epsilon have won every game in the playoffs where they've scored the first goal, and they've got that first goal. They know they can do this. Oh, that's a huge clear end-to-end. Well played by Repix. Not committing too far forward, though.
I would be highly surprised, given the situation, if we were to see Epsilon overcommit. Even if that goal is almost assured, I doubt they'd go for it. That is a big miss, though, by Alex, forcing Repix to go up. But he has managed to do something with it. Huge power and accuracy. And I believe that that might have been... No, it was not a double miss. They managed to push it into the corner. But Epsilon looking strong in this game. Tinny's going to be low on boost. They almost took it for a goal, but here it is. Repix turns it into the net, and it is a pull shot.
Beautifully done by Epsilon. The 1-2-3 passing play, and there is a
Alex,
great play.
it
It looks like it was some form of own goal, as Repix is credited with the finish. But Epsilon player, he was there. He was going to slam it in. We're just approaching the final 2 minutes. We're over halfway point and almost a 3-0 for Epsilon. They've waited a long time to turn it up to 11. Maybe now they find that 5th gear, which has eluded them so far in the series. Demos are raining all over Champions Field. And it is Endpoint who come out with the possession after all is said and done. Will they ever lose a fight? A real physical battle? It doesn't look like it.
What do you do when you're 2 goals down? Endpoint say you hit harder. Street Fighters later on, boys.
Oh, these boys, maybe they should try their hand at the double.
I think they'll be pretty good at it.
By the looks of things, why not? Are you allowed to bring a car in Street Fighter?
Absolutely. I'm saying it is now. But the story is
Great
2-0
pass.
still for Epsilon. They're going to try and make it 3. As Repix puts that one too high.
Still, the idea was they're trying to put it behind the goalkeeper. That's always the right way to place the ball if you have the option. Just denied by the inside of the joint. Once again, second time. We had that clear ball from the air from Repix earlier, which did rattle that crossbar and post simultaneously. Approaching the final minute. Endpoint still down by 2. We know that they can make this comeback happen if anyone can, and that would be the comeback that would seal the entire tournament for themselves. But now we are in that final minute. Epsilon hanging on, continuing the trend of winning every game where they score the first goal.
That's going to be very dangerous. Oh, goes straight off the crossbar, and then the other save, a hopeful one from Data, pushes it out to the side as Repix tried to take it further, but did end up running out of boost. As Epsilon do hold on, a goal there would have made it a very, very cautious situation indeed. But Repix going to pick himself up, yet another one. And there we are, 3-2 now in games. It's pretty much confirmed, and Repix, standout player on the offense.
Oh, Cine just got ruined. This time Repix does avoid hitting that dreaded crossbar. 3-0 Epsilon is taking the first step. They need 2 more after this one. But I'm delighted to see them finally stepping up. Starting to pass the ball really well. Taking the game to Endpoint. And Endpoint who have definitely slowed the pace in the latter half of this series. And are they going to continue to do so? They've got one more chance to, I think, change up their strategy if they want to. And then it'll go to Game 7, and who knows? Game 7, anything can happen. So this is going to be so interesting to see. What are Endpoint going to do? Are they going to throw themselves at Epsilon, try to win a game by just brute forcing it? Or maybe, just maybe, will they continue to sit back like they're doing right now and let Epsilon, hopefully from their perspective, beat themselves? If we have a repeat of Game 5, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
And you saw just there, the leg is starting to shake. Epsilon.
Oh, look at those.
Are they going to start listening about it? Endpoint have been here before. And if we go to the words of Frag, who was the player on Reason that did do the reverse sweep against Endpoint, he said, you got to feel it. You have to know, and you have to be loud with the rest of your team. Epsilon, that first win, looks like they're starting to feel it.
certainly does. As soon as that second goal went in, it never really looked like Endpoint were making a comeback. The 2-goal lead is just a really difficult thing to come back from against Epsilon, who are so good at winning when they're already ahead. Or winning from ahead, I should say. Not a team that relies very heavily on comebacks. It's definitely an individual goal of the series there from Repix. He saw Tinny backwards, and that's probably one of the few times that Tinny's been caught out in defense, facing the wrong way, in the wrong place at the wrong time. And now we have Game 6. And if Epsilon win this, I don't know who, I have no idea who's going to win the final game, because anything can happen in a Game 7 in a grand final of a 9-week tournament. So this is huge. What Endpoint is going to show up? Are Epsilon going to bring their A game? It's all happening right now at the Gfinity Elite Series.
Endpoint need to try and keep their game heads on. We saw them very quiet ahead of the last game. They need to start talking to one another, otherwise they could very well put themselves in a very bad position. There's a nice little touch over the top as Chacaron looks to take it past as well. That could go all the way in. It will not, though, as Tinny going to leave that one to Cheerio. Actually put them both out of position and slowed both of them down. Endpoint, lovely catapult shot there, using the flick over the top. Usually see that sort of power out of a Batmobile, not out of an Octane. Well played indeed.
Oh!
A huge go, Alex, not like this!
Oh no, Alex161. He thought that there was an imminent threat, but it was in fact Data, really, who is to blame. He popped the ball into the middle for no reason. And now that question that we asked has been answered, sorry. Endpoint just waiting for Epsilon to beat themselves. So how about that? The assist and the goal. Data and Alex161 linking up to put it into their own net. That is not what I like to see.
If anything can ruin your momentum, it will be that. As Alex is going to put that one straight forward. That will not trouble Chacaron at all. As Repex needs to try and deal with that. Passing plays are attempted to come out. Epsilon going back to what they did in the first game. Oh, and it's going to be a good attempt, though. Hits the crossbar. Shot accuracy still continuing to plague the Epsilon roster.
Oh, that's a great counterattack. Could have been in if it was on target. 2-goal lead has looked completely insurmountable this whole series. No one has made a comeback from even 1 goal down. A stat which does not bode well for Epsilon in the current state of affairs. Just over a minute and a half into the game. They're in desperate need of some inspiration. Right now, everything is looking pretty one-dimensional. Endpoint not looking threatened, able to predict every move that Epsilon are making. And Epsilon still have Endpoint in their own half. This is something that has happened quite a lot this series. And whenever it has happened, Epsilon have looked like they will at least get a chance to score. Maybe not guaranteed to score, but they are creating chances. Great fake by Alex. He's got the ball past Chacaron as well. Tinny does well to get the ball so far away from danger. And now time is Epsilon's worst enemy. They're not able to break down what is a phenomenal Endpoint midfield defense. What a strike from Cheerio.
What a strike indeed, but this right here is a big no-no there by Repex. Came really far out, effectively diving in for the ball. Could not get there, even close to on time, and that is a clean win. Endpoint put themselves 2 goals to the better. And if it was tough to start with, it's got even worse now, as Endpoint just have to defend and they will be champions.
Half the game gone. Epsilon 2 goals down in a must-win game, or there will be second place for themselves. The ball is up. It's a late jump by Repix. He never looked confident. The backboard defense continues to be solid for Cheerio and the gang. Tinny has been a rock at the start and the end of the series. A little bit of a patch in the middle where he did not look confident, but finishing strong is the most important thing in a long event like the Gfinity Elite Series, and that is exactly what Endpoint are doing.
Cheerio going to try and get there on time. That's going to be put straight over to Data. Puts that up high. He's got Repex. Repex needs to find someone who could not get any contact onto the ball. And that means Epsilon are still searching for the first of 2 goals that they need. Cheerio just over the top. He'll try and get the block. Almost did it. Definitely guessed the right way, but couldn't get the car there in time. But Epsilon, they need to get something going. Now resorting back to those midfield passing plays that we saw being so prevalent for them in weeks 1 and 2.
It's a great passing.
Maybe they can do it this time, but Data gets bumped and he can't play anything with that ball. Endpoint will hit, smash, and wallop their way to £20,000 if they have to.
We're approaching the final minute, still 2-0. Epsilon unable to score at all in Game 6. And it might be them who can see the next. The crossbars again, the rescuer. That is so important. Data could have gone for an off-the-ball bump on the keeper, but he decides not to. Final minute approaches and is here. Epsilon in need of 2 goals, or we will have a champion. Champion that we never would have predicted at the start of the series, but at the start of the day, we're the favorites going in, and that is Endpoint. 45 seconds, Epsilon with it all to do. Endpoint looking so consistent.
Oh, that's done it. Cheerio's got the opportunity. They overplay that. Can't turn it in. They're going to allow Alex to push this well forward, but Repex has not got the boost to try and get a hold of that ball. Final 30 seconds. Repex going to move himself forward off that backboard, but there is Cheerio pushing it over to the side.
This is it. They need a goal right now. They've got to score 1 and then recycle and score again. Endpoint, full rotation, in function. No one is looking out of position. No one is looking out the game. 10 seconds. This is it. Epsilon need to score. That is a great shot, but Tinny once again, always in position on the backboard, and he guides it to safety, and he guides Endpoint to victory. They've done it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an up and down season, but for Endpoint, it does not matter about the journey, it only matters about the destination, and the destination is the Gfinity Elite Series champions.
Shakuron can't believe it. It's moments like this, you'll look back and think, have we really just done this? Did we just win the Elite Series? Stacked rosters, left, right, and center. Endpoint have come out on top of the pile, ahead of everybody else. But props to Epsilon. Great sportsmanship, as we've come to expect from great sportsmen. And they were able to do what Infuse could not. They took 2 games off an Endpoint, who have been phenomenal.
And what does this mean for Rocket League, Johnny? The first team we've really seen properly commit to living in one house together to try and improve, and they go on to become the winners. And they're going to take home £20,000 for themselves. Do you now see other teams looking at this and going, you know what? We need to do this.
Team houses. Team houses might prevent own goals. That center ball from Data never really looked like they were making a comeback after it all collapsed. And it was Cheerio, top goal scorer of the entire Elite Series, who slammed in the winning goal. That goal that cemented their victory. It really just gave them a comfortable cushion to sit on that they never, ever stood up from.
Absolutely not. Everybody on Endpoint stepping up, standing in front of their opponents and saying, come on, we will take this to you. So confident throughout the entire series as well. We kind of looked at this going, they've said that they're new to the stage. We were worried about whether or not them coming into this final game would mean that they'd start to wobble it just a little bit. But no, every single time they're in the lead, not only did they not crawl into defense and make mistakes, they went forward, they pressured, they did not allow their opponents to come out of their half.
Yeah, most importantly, they might have had mistakes here and there. They had a couple of hiccups individually, but they never stopped trusting in each other. They always believed that they had the series in the bag, which indeed they did. Everybody thought that they were the favorites coming in. Analysts are correct, for a change perhaps. But yes. Back to you, Tom. We've had a great series over here, and it's over to you to close things out.
Thank you very much, Johnny Boy and Shogun. It's official. Endpoint are the Elite Series Rocket League champions. So here they are right now to collect their trophy. It's Endpoint. Gentlemen, one more thing. I feel like you should see the money on this. I've got to ask you, Tiddy, how are you feeling right now, if you could put it in words?
Until the last second, I wasn't even sure we were winning. Like, Epsilon gave us such good games. I really hope that was, the series everyone enjoyed, because playing it was amazing.
Well, the crowd were absolutely loving it. And Cheerio. Not only have you won the first prize, £20,000, you're also top goal scorer as well. How does that feel right now?
Feels really amazing, actually. I still haven't hit me that we won yet, though, but I'll probably, I don't know, get super hyped like an hour later, but it feels good.
Yeah, I love the fact that maybe Cheerio had it all planned out what he was about to say there, Tinny, but with a moment like that when you win, Shakra, is there tears behind those eyes?
They could be.
Oh, that's what we love. Listen, I'll tell you what, we'll get more analysis from the boys. I'll let them enjoy that check. I don't know how you're going to cash it, but this is the important thing. We'll have a little chat with the winning team in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. You've done it, boys! You've done it! Yes, boys!
Yet again, he has made that blue end his own home. And there we go. There
what a
is
shot.
the counter, Alex. Anything you can do, Alex can do better. Oh my goodness, Mummy Snow. How on earth did you manage this?
This is all Mummy Snow himself. One touch, and he sticks it in the bottom corner.
There goes Frank, he tries to make it a second.
Oh, Swope 6!
What an unbelievable play!
Cole and Stumpy would be screaming over that. They love a good doink.
Oh my God! Amazing touch! What a play! Ball away! What an absolute play that was! That was incredible.
They just want to cause some sort of chaos on the Team Infused half. But Ignite, who is the king of those clutch backboard hits.
That is such a good double touch.
And from what I've seen so far, you mentioned something that the ping pong was suiting Endpoint. Double touch. He gets up so early. After the first hit, he has to aerial down to get there. Ball that goes on to Devo. Waffle flicks it. What touch. As I said earlier, both teams are playing now. Devo gets another touch. And off the backboard, here is Mount. We are seeing what we expected to see from this game.
It's that Reason team who shocked them with the reverse sweep. Can XL do it here today?
Cheerio!
Not when Cheerio's doing that. What on earth has Cheerio just created? That angle is insane.
Okay, there you saw all of the different goals of the series, and we can see that goal 1, Alex 161 at the top there, 6%. Goal 2, Mummy Snow with 14%. Goal 3, Swo 6 there, and obviously we can see there the big dog himself, Data, winning the winning goal with 22%. Absolutely amazing. Did I just hear some shouting for Data then? Bit more, he's won the goal of the series. So there we go. Okay, so I mean, you didn't wear this cone for nothing. We've got you right on the screen. What have you thought about the Gfinity series so far? One word.
Amazing.
Amazing! Amazing. That's the word of the series. Perfect.
So here it is then, the Gfinity Elite Series. It is Rocket League, and it came down to the two teams, Endpoint versus Epsilon. And in the end, Endpoint got that 4-2 deserved victory over Epsilon, and they are crowned the Rocket League champions. So exciting. Look at the hugs at the end. Look at the exhilaration on their faces, but it's happened, and I'm joined right now on the panel by a man who deserves this. Quite right. Tinny, I mean, I'm glad you've carried the trophy down with you.
Yeah, not leaving my side.
The first question I want to know, Tinny, when this Elite Series started, you know, you're a team living together, hoping to maybe do as well as you possibly can in the tournament. Did you ever see yourself sat here with the trophy right now?
To be honest, no. No.
Why was that, Tinny? What was against you? What were you battling against?
There's just a lot of unknowns. We were a team, me and Cher have known each other for a long time, but Chakron was kind of a variable. He could have been really good, really bad. We didn't know at the time, so our goal was playoffs, so we didn't reach too far. But as soon as we were in playoffs, then I think our minds started being veered towards the semi-finals and then the finals. And
it's incredible that you've actually come onto the final, had the bit of momentum. Now, I have to bring it up because I feel like it'd be rude not to. One of your losses came to Reason. That's back in the memory now, isn't it? You don't have to worry about that.
No, I think I said on the video, once we got into playoffs, we could breathe a bit, not thinking about that Reason series or any of the other series we dropped.
Yeah, I mean, but it's incredible the fact that the team that go on, Greg and Onset, lost to the team at the bottom, and that's in terms of the form that you had, but on the day managed to deliver, beating Epsilon, and look at that, the trophies in front of them, the cash prize, 20,000. I don't even know how you split that between three, but it's going to be epic though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The bottom team was able to come up against the winning team and give them a run for their money. That just shows you how close the whole Elite Series was. And I think credit to Endpoint as a team, they started at the bottom end and people were kind of questioning whether they'll be able to improve that much. And I think a lot of us expected you with the house and everything to get better and better. You've had a history, you and Cheerio, but as you said, Chakron, bit of a question there. But you've all developed so much. And I think the mindset that you have really played into your favour because every moment you never expect that you're going to win. You just try and play as well as you can, have fun. And like you said, you didn't even know you'd won until the clock went zero and you took the victory. And so congratulations, you've done so well to get to the stage.
Yeah, taking the applause there. Onset, I mean, there were moments where it went back and forth. I mean, how did you find it, Tiddy? That you took that two-game lead and then you let one back in for Epsilon. Then you went 3-1, then it was 3-2. What was going through your mind while you were up there? Were the nerves there?
A little at times, I think. But we know Epsilon are a really good team, and we've played them more than any other team, I think, in this Elite Series. So we knew we had to be on our game. At 3-1 up, I actually asked one of the admins if it was best of 7 because I forgot.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how long we'd be going for. So,
just keep winning, guys. Cheerio, Jack on. We just need to keep winning until they say stop.
Basically.
What do you do now? I mean, the casters talked about you as the team during the match that had the potential to go on and do this. Where did Endpoint go now for Season 2? I mean, I've not even given you a chance to enjoy the win. So, no, let's move on. We haven't got time for that. What do you do now? Where does Endpoint go?
I think I've said it a lot, just carry on what we're doing. It's a slow process, I think, what we're doing, but I think in the long run it's going to have a lot more results for us, and I think the fact that this Elite Series we started as a question mark and ended up being the champions, I think it proves that the way we're doing things right now is working, so just keep carrying on. Yeah. Do you reckon, Onset, that the consistency of not changing their team really helped Endpoint compared to someone like Envious, who had Remgod come in, or Devo, and the inconsistency of having to change that back and forth?
100%. I mean, it's not just what happens in game. I think out of game as well. You guys living together, you get to know personalities, and you can almost play off of it that in game. They've been together for the entirety of the Elite Series, the only roster to have done that. They're champions. I mean, do you need to say anything else about how important that is? They're the only roster that's stuck together. They're now sat here with a trophy in front of them. What else can you say? And I've got to be honest with you now, Tiddy. When Cheerio was 2 goals away from being the top goal scorer, did he say to you, listen, if there's a chance, pass me the ball, I want to get this trophy as well? Was any, because we can see some of the goals, but did he say that at any point? No, but when he found out he was top goal scorer, he shouted louder than when we won, so okay. I think it meant quite a bit. I mean, so this is some of the action that you get to relive, and I'm sure you'll get the whole highlight package of the final to watch back whenever you want. Maybe you're having a bad day playing a bit of Rocket League and you go, hang on a minute, I'm an Elite Series Rocket League champion, thank you. I had really bad flashbacks at one point in this game where you started hitting the crossbar and the posts again. I was like, no, it's week 1 and 2 again. I was like, no. And then finally you managed to actually convert. It was almost as if we saw the entire Elite Series over one particular game. And as we can see, Cheerio at the top of the table. But who's that little name at the bottom? Towards the bottom. Stuck in. I really didn't expect that. No, there you go. Okay. 22, 2 little ducks, and that's bingo, which we never talk about. But I mean, hopefully next season, maybe there'll be a bit of rivalry between your team about maybe you becoming the top goal scorer. Is that a possibility? Cheerio's the scorer. That's never going to change. Well, listen, we've got to talk about the best moments, some of Tinny's goals from today. And while you're here, let's
Let's enjoy these, Tinny.
I don't remember any of them.
Don't remember any of them. Okay, typical.
Do you know what's funny about a lot of your goals, Tinny, is you seem to just be in the right place at the right time. Obviously, that's a skill in its own right, but I really want to ask about these little quick 1-2 passes that you've been trying to do with your teammates. Do you plan those, or do you just kind of go silent for a moment and see if it works?
Honestly, it's 50-50. Sometimes we can read each other and we can like call for a pass, but sometimes it is just sort of like, it's just magic. It's just sort of, oh, if someone's probably here, hit it right. Oh, someone's right. Like, it's as simple as that.
And I love that embrace at the end. That's what it means. I mean, I almost thought for a second, Cheerio at the end of the Elite Series, if he won it, would just take the hat off and just throw it for the first time. But it's never going to happen, is it?
He should have.
He should have done. Who would you want to thank? I mean, I know that the Endpoint coach, manager was here. Is there anyone you want to thank, Tinny, while you've got an opportunity?
Gregan, for one, because he put me in touch with Endpoint in the first place. So thank you very much, Gregan. Endpoint, obviously, my teammates, the Gfinity staff, you know, yourselves, all the casting. It's been excellent. I really enjoyed my time in London every week.
Oh, well, as you mentioned us, here's a little treat. We can see some of your goals again. Not just yours, but the whole team, because it was a fantastic performance. And let's, would you see like maybe Team Infuse, Envious will be sort of now looking at Endpoint as a team, oh, hang on a minute, that's not the fixture of ease or of any sort of difficulty that we thought it might be.
If they keep improving like they have throughout this season, then the mentality towards this Endpoint team is definitely going to change those top squads, in my opinion. If you can keep doing what you're doing and improving the next 8 weeks as much as you have in the previous, then I mean, I know it's a big ask, but you know, it's definitely going to put those teams on notice.
Yeah, and no one really understands why this whole living together thing is so important. It's not just about the bonds you create, it's about the accessibility you have to each other. I know from speaking to other pros that you are the team to scrim because they know that you're going to be together, they know that you're going to be around, so they're guaranteed a game. So that just works out for you guys because you can just play everyone you need to. Like you were saying before, Epsilon were one of your scrim partners, but you've got hundreds of other scrim partners that you go with, and that's the best way to practice, playing series of games against opposition, trying to work them out. And I just want to say a huge shout out to Endpoint for putting that house on for you, because I think that's really showing the rest of the Rocket League scene how to best improve a team.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be a few landlords waiting to give these franchises and the teams a little call and go, I can sort you out a deal for some of your players. Listen, Tinny, I'm going to say goodbye to you for briefly, but we'll see you again at the end of the show. But congratulations on the win, and you can start planning how you're going to spend that money, maybe a couple of controllers here and there. But we'll let you enjoy that for a moment, because right now, Yasmin is with the runners-up team, and I want to find out what they're thinking right now.
Oh, I think a lot of people do. But I mean, congratulations, guys. Runner-up still. That's amazing. I personally think so. Not forgetting that you guys don't go home empty-handed. We've got a little hefty 10 grand there for you. Now, what has this Elite Series been like for you, sort of up to this point now?
It was the first LAN experience I had, and I think everyone in my team. So it was good to learn and also to get used to the stage and stuff. So yeah, it was a great experience, and I mean we can't complain too much about second place.
No, exactly. Now going forward for you guys, what are we expecting next from season 2? Do you think?
We are not sure if we play season 2, but if we play, probably first place.
Okay. Come on, I love that. Do you know what? I feel like you guys as a team, you're quite confident, quite certain. Am I right?
I mean, you have to be.
Yeah. So, how has it been for you, Data? I mean, we just saw that you were celebrating your gold season. How are we feeling now?
I mean, actually, I'm not that sad or anything. It's hard to get sad at this. Like, I'm just happy for the other guys.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, congratulations once again. It's been a pleasure having you a part of this Elite Series. And yeah, on to the next one. Maybe. Back to you, Tom.
Definitely a few maybes there. It's always difficult chatting to the running-up team because you know, yes, they get the second prize. It's a lot of cash, but at the same time they'll be very disappointed. But they should come back for season 2 a lot stronger and knowing that they can get to the final again, shouldn't they?
I mean, I know the Epsilon boys. They always want to be the best. They never stop at second place, and I think that works so well for them because I don't think second was expected of them, but because of that attitude of we need to be the best, it just kept rising them up and up and up this series.
Yeah, I wish the best for them. But listen, Onset, I want to know your moment of the season and the Elite Series. Have you got one in mind?
It's a little gem that's sort of hidden among some of the bigger stories, but it's the emergence of a young player in Waffle. He came out of nowhere, essentially. He was on that Envy roster, and his first series that he played, he just literally, the wall of waffle was crowned. The guy was insane defensively. Obviously, he came from a football background himself, you know, outside of Rocket League, played as a defender, and you could see it throughout the entirety of the Elite Series, the amount of saves he was making, and he grew into the Elite Series on the offensive side of things as well. Not only that, he got to play alongside a world champion. So, I mean, as far as experience and things to learn, that young man has got a bright future ahead of him.
Ah, brilliant. That's a great little choice. As we are wrapping up Season 1 with Endpoint as the winners, Gregan, do you have a sort of best moment from the series?
There's so many great moments, but it has to be Magnus and Metsonoris, how they just create goal after goal. They're just a beauty to watch. Everything about their play just screams, we're going to score. Every time Magnus is near the net, you expect him to score. And the fact that those two as a pair are now becoming world-renowned as one of the best pairs in Rocket League, I think they have got a huge future ahead of them. The two Finnish players, certainly ones to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And if obviously they turn up for the semi-final, it could have been a very different final. But again, I'm taking nothing away from Epsilon and Endpoint. The two of the other analysts that are normally joining us every single week are Cole and Stumpy. I believe they have sent us their favourite moment from the Elite Series.
On the break here, Magnus is going to be there! Puts this one up a lot. Once again, going to be down off the backboard. Oh, is that going to go in? It's Magnus!
Did there, right into the middle, and a lot was the finisher as a beautiful shot.
To put 2 games past Prophecy, who were dominating them early in that series.
Oh, what a shot themselves. And that allowed the demoers Mets shot.
Air dribble into a self-set double touch approach. Oh! Nowhere. The ball's there happen. Oh, my word! Mensa.
Well, that is odd, because they told me that their favourite moment was Reason getting their first win, but apparently, Gregan, they've stolen yours as well there. It happens. It happens.
They've been stealing my ideas the whole series long. No, to be fair to both Stumpy and Cole, they've loved every moment of this. They've loved having the crowd down every time, and I know that every single time we go off air, they're just beaming, because it's just a joy to be on stage here with all these great players.
Perfect. And listen, I've got to say, my favourite moment, I think you remember this one, is when I unleashed the Rocket League from my chest.
That was incredible.
Here it is. It took about 5 retakes. No, I'm kidding. Did it live. One take, wonder Deacon. Here he goes. Wait for it. Big moment. The last button proved tricky, but out of nowhere.
And here they are from 8 to 1.
It's Rocket League. That's it.
There it is.
You are welcome. Thank you very much. Listen, I think what we need to do right now, it's been great. We've relived some of the moments for Season 1, but we need to welcome back the winners to this Gfinity arena. They are Endpoint. We can welcome them down to the stage for one last time. So here they are. Listen, gentlemen, it's been an epic fight. The first time I get to see you, Data, commiserations. But hey, runners up, looking forward to Season 2. I know that for a fact.
Yes.
That's all I needed from this man. Congratulations for the win. Look at this. Yasmin's there. You've got Johnny Boy, Shogun. We've got everyone over there. There's a few players that are knocking about in the audience as well. And it's been a brilliant little audience there. They want to come in. They sort of do, because it's the end of Season 1. It's the end of Season 1. We rehearsed this. You were going to do a tap dance. No, don't do that. Listen, I tell you what, it's been epic. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. We need to say one thing from this is basically Season 1 has been an epic battle between these two in the final, but right now we're going to leave Endpoint to enjoy their victory, and then we will be back for Season 2. And if you've enjoyed it, we'll see you then again.
First goal could be so important. Not able to break down what is a phenomenal Endpoint midfield defense. What a strike from Cheerio. 10 seconds. This is it. Epsilon need to score. That is a great shot, but Timmy once again, always in position on the backboard, and he guides it to safety, and he guides Endpoint to victory. They've done it. It's Endpoint.